Scene script. Can you imagine a world without trees? It's a chilling thought, isn't it? A world without the comforting rustle of leaves, the cool shade on a sunny day, the sweet fragrance of blossoms in the spring. But more than that, it's a world where life as we know it could cease to exist. You see, trees are the unsung heroes of our planet. They are the lungs of the earth, absorbing carbon dioxide, a potent greenhouse gas, and giving us back clean, fresh oxygen. They act as a natural air conditioner, cooling our cities and towns. They stabilize soil, preventing landslides, and maintain water cycles, ensuring we have clean water to drink. And yet, these very life givers are under threat. A threat that's often hidden, but just as deadly: illegal logging. As we speak, forests are being razed to the ground, trees are being felled without a second thought. And the impact of this reckless destruction is far-reaching. When we lose trees, we lose more than just their beauty. We lose an essential tool in our fight against climate change. With fewer trees to absorb carbon dioxide, more of this gas stays in our atmosphere, heating our planet at an alarming rate. But the damage doesn't stop there. Our forests are teeming with life, home to countless species of animals, insects, and plants. Many of these species are not found anywhere else in the world. When we cut down trees, we are also wiping out these unique species, causing a devastating loss in biodiversity. Imagine for a moment the cascade of events that follows. With fewer trees, there's less habitat for wildlife, leading to their decline. With fewer animals, there's less food for predators. The balance of the ecosystem is upset, and the effects ripple outwards, altering the world as we know it. Illegal logging is a silent killer of our environment, a reality we must confront. We owe it to ourselves and to future generations to protect our trees, our forests, and our planet. The time to act is now. The figures behind illegal logging are as staggering as they are alarming. Let's dive into these numbers, shall we? Illegal logging accounts for a shocking 30 to 50% of all global wood production. That's right, up to half of all wood harvested from our forests is done so unlawfully. This illicit trade is estimated to be worth between $10 to $15 billion each year, a staggering sum that's driving this unlawful and destructive industry. And what about the forests? Well, they're disappearing at an alarming rate. Every year we lose an area of forest the size of Greece. That's approximately 131,000 square kilometers of precious forest gone. To put that into perspective, that's equivalent to about 28 million football fields. But the damage doesn't stop there. Forests are our planet's lungs. They absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen. When these forests are cut down, not only does this carbon-absorbing capacity disappear, but the stored carbon is also released back into the atmosphere. Each year, illegal logging is responsible for more carbon emissions than all the cars, trucks, planes, and ships in the world combined. That's a total of around 1.5 billion tons of carbon dioxide. Even the wildlife is impacted. Forests are home to more than 80% of the world's terrestrial biodiversity. When forests disappear, so do countless species, many of which have not even been discovered yet. These numbers paint a bleak picture indeed. But remember, understanding the problem is the first step towards combating it. As we delve deeper into the impacts of illegal logging, let's keep these staggering figures in mind, for they are not just numbers, but a call to action. A call to protect our forests, our planet, and ultimately, our future. These numbers paint a bleak picture, but understanding the problem is the first step towards combating it. Illegal logging is not just an environmental crisis, but a human one too. Let's delve deeper into the human cost of this issue. Forests are more than just vast expanses of trees. They are homes and lifelines for countless individuals, communities, and cultures. When illegal logging rears its ugly head, it's not just the trees that fall. Lives are uprooted and livelihoods are destroyed. Indigenous communities around the world have a profound connection with their ancestral lands. Their identities, traditions, and ways of life are deeply intertwined with the forest ecosystem. Illegal logging shatters this bond, leaving these communities displaced and disoriented. Their homes, once vibrant and teeming with life, are reduced to barren landscapes. Their sacred sites, once rich with history and heritage, are lost forever. But it's not just these communities that bear the brunt. Many people, particularly those in developing nations, rely heavily on forests for their survival. They depend on the forest for food, fuel, medicine, and other essential resources. Illegal logging robs them of these resources, pushing them further into the clutches of poverty and hardship. Moreover, illegal logging often brings with it a whole host of social conflicts. Disputes over land rights, violence, and even loss of life are not uncommon in regions plagued by this issue. It's a brutal cycle, where the pursuit of quick profits tramples over human rights and dignity. This devastating human cost adds a whole new dimension to the illegal logging crisis. It's not just about the loss of biodiversity or the increase in carbon emissions. It's about the loss of homes and heritage, the erosion of cultures, the escalation of poverty, and the surge in conflict and violence. This is the human face of illegal logging. It's the mother who can't feed her children because the forest that provided their meals is gone. It's the elder who mourns the loss of sacred sites that held the stories of their ancestors. It's the community that's torn apart by conflict over the remains of a once flourishing forest. The toll on human lives adds another layer of urgency to this issue. Illegal logging is a billion-dollar industry, but at what cost? When we dive into the economic implications of illegal logging, the numbers are staggering. Governments worldwide are losing out on a significant amount of revenue, and the global economy is adversely impacted as well. Imagine a scenario where a legitimate business, let's call it green timber, is doing everything right. They're harvesting responsibly, replanting, and paying their fair share of taxes. However, right next door, there's black market lumber, an illegal operation that doesn't pay taxes, doesn't replant, and doesn't care about sustainability. They can sell their lumber at a much lower price because they're avoiding all the costs related to responsible forestry. This creates an unfair market where green timber struggles to compete even though they're the ones doing the right thing. And it's not just the companies that suffer. Governments lose out on billions in revenue from taxes that aren't being paid by illegal operations. This money could have been used to fund public services, infrastructure projects, and conservation efforts. But instead, it's disappearing into the pockets of those who exploit our forests. But the economic fallout goes beyond just the loss of government revenue and unfair competition. The World Bank estimates that illegal logging costs the global economy around $10 to $15 billion each year. That's a staggering amount of money that could be used to fund education, healthcare, and other vital services around the globe. Moreover, the loss of forests due to illegal logging can also impact local economies in devastating ways. Forests provide a range of ecosystem services, from regulating climate and water to providing food and livelihoods. When these services are lost, local communities can suffer greatly. So you see, illegal logging isn't just an environmental issue, it's an economic one as well. It's a practice that undermines fair competition, robs governments of revenue, and drains our global economy. And the worst part? The cost is not just monetary. It's our forests, our wildlife, our climate, and our future that's at stake. Illegal logging is not just damaging our environment, but also our economies. Scene script. Knowing the problem is half the battle. Now, what can we do about it? We've seen the impact, the numbers, the human cost, and the economic fallout of illegal logging. It's a daunting picture, isn't it? But let's not forget, we're not powerless against this issue. There are realistic and effective solutions that we can champion to curb this environmental crisis. First and foremost, we need stricter laws that target illegal logging. These laws should not only be punitive, but also preventative, making it harder for illegal loggers to operate in the first place. However, laws are only as good as their enforcement. We need robust mechanisms to detect and prosecute instances of illegal logging. This could mean investing in advanced satellite technology to monitor forests or strengthening the capacity of local law enforcement agencies. Then there's the power of public awareness. The more people understand the gravity of this issue, the greater the pressure on governments and corporations to act. We can all play a part in this, whether it's through sharing information online, participating in awareness campaigns, or simply discussing the issue with friends and family. But perhaps the most powerful weapon we have in this battle is promoting sustainable forestry practices. This isn't about halting logging altogether, but about doing it in a way that doesn't deplete our forests beyond their ability to recover. Sustainable forestry ensures that we can benefit from our forests without destroying them, striking a balance that respects both our needs and the health of our planet. And finally, let's not underestimate the role that each of us can play in combating illegal logging. Whether it's making more conscious purchasing decisions, supporting organizations that fight illegal logging, or advocating for change in our own communities, every action counts. Remember, change does not happen overnight. It requires persistence, dedication, and collective action. But the rewards are worth it. A healthier planet, a more sustainable economy, and a brighter future for all. Together, we can turn the tide against illegal logging and safeguard our environment for future generations.